Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Wondering if you played a role in the violation.
And God was showing you it is possible. This is where I want you.
Oh wow, my uniqueness is actually my currency. I'm in tune, and it's about surrendering.
And how does hearing God's voice look like for you?
Prayer for me has taught me how to communicate with God and how to listen to God. I'm just at a place where I'm no longer like questioning ideas that come up. I know that they are like divine. Don't ever give it up.
Hi guys, welcome back to Inside Story with me, Gogetsona Lady Motaung. On Saturday, I've got Didintle Khunou. She's an award-winning actor, a musician, a producer. She does it all, and she's right here with us, and I can't wait to unpack her story. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm pretty excited. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm so excited to be in conversation with you.
Me too.
I feel like we've witnessed each other's journeys, and also just through the acting program, Stephen's program, like.
And
there's
it's
a lot
beautiful.
of development and growth. Yes.
It's beautiful to see you grow as well, to watch you do the amazing work that you're doing.
Yes.
It's really beautiful. But today I really want to get to know you. You know? Who is Didi? What makes Didi tick? Who is Didi?
Well, to start off with, formally, Didintle Khunou is a child of God.
Yeah.
And an actress, a sister.
Yeah.
A daughter,
Yeah,
an auntie.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Your sister has a baby?
No, my brother has a baby girl.
Oh, I thought it was Bipilo. I was
No.
like, when did that happen?
Oh no, she will definitely want to take her time before that. But my brother Tulanang has a baby girl, and she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a new role of Rakhadi has. I've been blessed with that in my life. An actress, a voiceover artist, a musician. That's a new role as well.
And you just released your single.
Producer, that's a new role. I feel like I'm going to be getting tips from you and Lebo about how to create your own content.
Let's create content.
Yes, please share all the sage wisdom that you guys have. But so I'm in a place of it's a new chapter. There's a new chapter that I'm sensing, and I'm excited. I think when you step into the unknown, it can be a bit scary.
Yeah,
because you don't know. You can't really tell what's going to happen, where God is going to lead you. But it's really a test of faith, your faith, and exercising your faith.
Definitely. And if you could grow from where you were, even in your acting, right, to where you are now.
Yeah.
Even producing will be child's play.
Yes.
I trust you. I trust you.
I trust your judgment. So,
is there anything that interesting that happened on your way here?
On my way. So this morning, I'm finding myself packing. I'm moving out of my current apartment, and that's why I'm saying that it's a new chapter for me, in many ways. And I'm in this phase of mourning the old version of myself, mourning the old place that I was in, mourning my old space, and stepping into new territories, a new realm. And so, there's a variety and a range of feelings. There's doubt, there's excitement, there's
what is the one thing you're doubting that makes you doubt the most?
If I'm making the right decision, by leaving the old and stepping into the new. But so those feelings of doubt do come up, but I guess through prayer and through just reminding myself of what my mission is and how I want to use my artistic agency and my personal agency, and where I envision myself being. I'm reminded that God is guiding me
Yeah.
and that I am in tune.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes I doubt whether I am hearing God's voice clearly,
Yeah.
but I shouldn't.
Yeah. You
I
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
Man.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm in tune, and it's just it's about surrendering and letting what must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does hearing God's voice look like for you?
It's definitely come through developing a routine of prayer, which I never had before, to be very honest. I wasn't in constant communication with God. But really, prayer for me has taught me how to communicate with God and how to listen to God. Um, it was also through prayer that I learned how to see God's hand in my life, how to see when God is talking to me, or it happened through building a constant and like unshakable routine
Yeah.
of praying and like what I call obligatory prayers
Yeah.
and saying them at specific times of the day.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, being very disciplined and strict about that
Yeah.
so that I am I do that because I want to constantly be connected and in tune. That's such a priority, especially because now I'm in a transition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like when we in transition,
That's when you need.
that's
Him
when
the
you
most.
need to ground yourself and really just be connected. Yeah.
That's so much.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful to see you being here in terms of spirituality as well, in terms of the person I knew before.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Let's go back to your childhood.
Yeah.
Now, what is your earliest childhood memory, and how was it like?
My earliest childhood memory. I remember, so I grew up in Klerksdorp with my parents and my siblings. And before we moved into the farm that my parents own, we lived in an area called Volkopis, a corner house that my parents built from scratch.
Yeah. Oh,
And
beautiful.
yes, and my first memory is actually two. It's of being in the stoep,
Yeah.
the courtyard.
Yeah.
And my parents had worked so hard. They built themselves a pool and a garden area. And I remember the cobblestones and the texture of the stoop.
Yeah.
The colors, it was black and white.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember feeling on my feet and in my hands the texture of that tile. And I also remember, my dad putting me on, they worked very hard, Shem, a snooker table.
Yeah.
And he would play Julio Iglesias. And he would
I would ask
slow
what that
dance.
is, but I know nothing about snooker.
He is an Italian singer. He was huge in the 90s.
Singer. I even thought it's a game.
No, no, friend. He's a
Lonely.
singer. He's an artist from an Italian one. Enrique Iglesias' father.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Enrique, I
know
can be your
Enrique.
hero, baby. His father.
I don't know when she's leaving or when she's
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
back. Okay.
So my father loved Julio Iglesias, and so he would play that and put me on the snooker table, and he would dance with me, And I remember also playing with my brothers before Pipilo was born, on the grass. And I remember my mother, So yeah, those are my earliest memories.
And how is it like right now, remembering? How does it make you feel? How does it feel like?
Whoa, what an interesting question. It makes me realize that, wow, things can change. And things can change rapidly, and we need to embrace the changes that happen in our lives. We need to go with the flow, is what I am learning from those memories. And that home is not necessarily a place, but it is a feeling, and it is, you find home in people.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily find home specifically in a house.
Yeah.
That's what these memories are making me kind of reflect on right now, and realize that home is a feeling that you find in people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about change, you mentioned change, that things can change. What's changed from that
Well,
warm, beautiful home?
what changed? Yeah, first of all, what changed is the actual physical home. So I then moved into a farm, and how they raised me changed. I was taught to work the soil, and I think that developed my interest and my love for gardening and for herbs that I am just diving into right now in my life.
Yeah.
And then
You need
also,
to teach me a thing or two.
I will
About
definitely. I have,
gardening.
yes,
Yeah.
I think you will definitely enjoy it. It's such a nice creative outlet.
Yeah.
You can grow things with pots as well. And I'm focused on growing herbs that are really great for skin, for hair, for the overall health of the body.
I definitely need one for her, girl.
But your hair is popping though.
My hair.
Your
Can
hair
you
is
see?
popping.
It's very light. Yes, it's popping because I done did it, girl. I done did it. But there's very few hair here. Right?
Yeah,
I want you to
yes.
grow and be rich. But also
Yes.
if it in God's plan.
Yes,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
and so also growing up on a farm taught me that, you know, the beauty of like tlhago le setso, like bagologolo ba rona did things a certain way for a specific reason. They
Yeah.
knew what to grow, when to grow it, and for what. Like the wisdom of how our people did and lived life back then is what I'm also trying to connect to. And if I didn't move to a farm that exposed me to animals and taking care of animals, that exposed me to gardening and learning how to grow your own food, and the sense of power and sustainability, you know, that sense of I can take care of myself, that
Yeah.
comes with seeing something that you planted, seeing a seed that you planted and growing it, nurturing it, and then now taking it to the kitchen and feeding
That's really
yourself.
beautiful because it's reminding me of the space I find myself in as well right now. Because also, it's funny that you grew up in a farm. Mine was not a farm, right? It was around 30 houses within an area, but around it was plantation, and then there was a Millie Meal Corporation, right?
Right, okay.
So we had to really rely on, of course, there was electricity, running water and stuff. It was modern, but in the blast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so right now, what God is doing in my life in terms of everything, right? He started doing this, I think, around 3 years ago, where instead, in terms of everything, I need to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Even if I'm going to put on makeup in my hair, I need to learn how to do that.
Yourself, yes.
If I'm going to hear him clearly, if he's going to communicate to me properly, right? All these things, because they can be such idols, right? All these things that we like, the makeup, the hair, the food that we eat, the fact that we go to Woolworth now, and you know what I mean? They can be such idols that you forget how to be self-sufficient in His sufficiency.
In God's sufficiency.
Right.
In God's provision.
Right.
Yes.
So what you're saying is really beautiful because it aligns with where I am, where I found myself. Another parallel that I think it's really beautiful with you and I's story. But I want to go back to your the street. Obviously, you didn't have a street, right? But let's go into your friends. How did that feel like? You playing with your friends? Because we're in the city now, right? Things are different.
Yeah.
Right? How did that feel like? And when you think about those moments, what do they do to your little heart and spirit?
Like my friends as a child?
As a child, as you're growing up in the farm.
Wow. So I never really had a lot of friends growing up in the farm. So the farm that we were located in was, right now, if you go to Klerksdorp right now, it's an area called Jacaranda. Basically, the government started to build RDP housing for people around the land that, you know, is our farm. And then more people from Gaisi came through because they also want housing. But back then, there was absolutely nothing. No one, just like, literally,
I get
monageng,
that.
basically.
Yeah.
So I never really had friends. My friends were my sister, my siblings, but really it was my sister. And that friendship, we allowed ourselves to play and be creative with one another. So we would go outside and explore, and we were connected with nature. So nature and the outside was also our friend. We learned from seeing the snakes in the grass. We learned from seeing the rats. We understood the circle of life and the way that life operates, and seasons. We learned about the seasons that happen in life through just playing outside and seeing the animals and seeing how the animals graze. And grazing turns into manure. The manure we use to grow vegetation that my mother was, and my mother was also a landscaper. She loved beautifying. She's a Taurus. She loves beautifying her space. And we learned about beauty and God's beauty, God's creation, God's genius, just through our upbringing of playing outside, seeing the animals be animals, and how everything is interconnected. You know, I really appreciate that experience, that very grounded, humble experience of just being one in nature. I don't think my parents knew that, you know, raising their children on a farm could give them that sense of grounding, but it really did, you know. And also watching my parents build, my mother build her lodge up from scratch. She built her business, and seeing her build it from the beginning to where it was at its peak was also a lesson in perseverance and patience and bravery, courage. My mom taught me through leaving her 9 to 5, moving out of, you know, a house that she built in the suburbs to a farm and starting that process again. She taught me courage, because I think to leave a 9 to 5 to be an entrepreneur,
stability,
the idea of stability, but then creating from your own and through like partnering with God, you know, and creating with God, taught me that, oh, I can do that too with my talents and my gifts. So I actually also appreciate that. I appreciated seeing her start something from literally the ground up. I think that was a good representation for a young Black girl to just see and witness. And it's something I want to also take into my life as I'm starting with the producing now.
Well, and I'm so excited for this season of your life.
Thank you.
Because I feel like that's what exactly God is calling us to do.
Yes.
Right? You can go and be employed and do all these amazing things, right? But that's a stepping stone. And a lot of us sees it as the ultimate. I want you to do this for me. I want you to give me a job. But your mother could do it. And God was showing you it is possible. This is where I want you.
And funny enough, our education system and our schools, I think schooling, we need to start thinking about how to change our school systems, how we educate. Because when you come out of school, you come out like, okay, you come out waiting for the world to tell you what to do. Because
I know
you
how
know,
to
like
read.
a schedule. At school, you have a schedule from 9 up until 10. You're at this and this class, and then at 10:15, it's first break. Now you can rest. But when you come out of that, you quickly learn that you now have to create your own schedule. You're the driver. Well, God is the driver. But you are partnering with God. And it's you need to make it happen.
Exactly.
So I think I'm also learning that, like, everyone is winging it, hey?
Exactly.
Even people in like positions of authority, everyone is winging it.
Yeah, because we're not taught that from school, unfortunately.
Yes.
But God is a good teacher.
Yes.
All right? He's a good teacher. And he's very good at reminding us when we're ready as well.
When we're ready.
When we're ready. But I do agree with you. It can start sooner.
Yeah.
It can start sooner.
Yes.
Let's go to your childhood, right? You are being brought up by such a powerhouse of a woman. When did insecurity start for you? What was that moment? The moment that you remember where you started feeling insecure that I'm not enough. What is happening here? You know what I mean? I'm not looked at. I'm here, but nobody sees me.
That's very interesting. I don't know when. I can't remember when.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that's coming into spirit right now is I remember the first time I had to start wearing spectacles.
How old were you?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Probably grade 2 or 1 or something.
Yeah.
I remember when the first time I could see that my sight was starting to shift and change.
Yeah.
And I remember how weird it felt. You know? I remember the weirdness and maybe a little bit of the insecurity of like now having to put on these spectacles and not being able to see things. I remember I wouldn't always wear them. Like I would actually,
them away,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't think my parents know this, but I would actually like put them away and really struggle, and then I'd have to put them on, use them, and then put them away. There was this weird dynamic of like, why is my sight changing? A little like frustration, but I think at that age I didn't understand that these feelings of frustration.
Do you think there was also shame?
Yeah, maybe a bit of shame around why is my eyesight changing?
Yeah.
But and then the growing dependency on the glasses, and I remember feeling like, ugh,
Yeah, man.
I don't like the fact that I'm depending on these things
Yeah,
to
and
see.
also the perception that comes with that as well. You're good at two shoes now. You stand out.
I don't know. I don't remember like the details of like whether I was worried about being perceived because of the glasses or what I was perceived as, but I do remember the frustration around them. And the first time, I remember that was the first time I felt the feelings of like a lack of control. Like, oh, I can't do anything about this. And it's frustrating me, you know?
I get that. I get that a lot.
So I think maybe those were the first moments I felt that I can remember of like insecurity or oh, this is not really going my way and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That I don't know. Yeah, this is such an interesting question. I love that we're diving this deep.
Yeah. So the first time I met you how many years ago? 2016, right?
2016, so almost 10.
Yeah, almost 10.
Yeah.
Oh, we're decade old.
Don't
say that. No, but I'm forever young, forever 21.
Forever 21.
The Holy Spirit, girl. The Holy Spirit is doing his
Black
thing.
don't crack.
Yeah. Black don't crack. And I remember in that class, we all came with a lot of baggage. We had things going on. All of us. We were going sharing and we were crying almost every season. Oh, tell us about your story.
Isn't it interesting how back then many of us, our default position was like suffering.
Yeah.
Our default position was from a place of suffering.
Yeah.
A lot of us, I remember in the class, you know, a lot of us were addicted to our suffering.
Yeah, to our pain. We're exalting our pain.
Yeah. I remember there was one session where it really felt like we were comparing each other's pain. Remember? Because, you know, Stephen would create a cocoon.
Yeah.
But
we needed that.
We needed the cocoon.
Yeah.
But it also made me realize when I look back that we were really attached. Like a lot of us used to wear our pain like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I also think it has to do with how we are conditioned as people and where we come from, and always coming from a place of lack and not abundance, just operating this mentality exactly of scarcity. Yeah. that I don't have, you have.
Yeah.
Or comparing yourself, even though you're not aware that, sometimes you're not aware that I'm comparing myself to you.
Yes.
Right? You haven't really settled, like you were saying earlier on about education. You haven't really settled into who you are.
Yeah.
You don't really know where you are as a person, or what you're capable of, or who you are, or what God has called you to be.
Yeah.
And sometimes you know, but you're denying that this is my path and I am this person because I don't want to stand out, right? I don't want people to hear me.
Yeah.
I want to stand out like her,
Yes.
you know, but not
Yeah.
just not like me, right? So
Yes.
I think we needed to go through all of that for us to birth this beautiful woman. Did you think
Yes.
so, though?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And I feel like that's why I'm so appreciative of the confusing moments, especially in my 20s. Like those moments of sheer confusion of the comparison, as you said, because then it kind of led me to that place of, oh, wow, my uniqueness is actually my currency and what the gift that I need to inject more into my work or whatever, you know? Yeah.
Definitely. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? I know you pray.
Yes.
What's another thing that you do, the other thing? Maybe you start with prayer and then what else do you do? To center yourself, to ground yourself.
Okay. So it starts off with prayer. And then I think the prayer leads into a deep meditation of like dreaming. For real.
Yeah.
Like it becomes like a dreaming of what could be.
Yeah.
You know? That place of like optimism and like, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a mixture of optimism and curiosity of, ooh.
Yeah. I love that. And what do you think
What's
keeps
today
your
gonna bring?
curiosity alive instead of like just waking up? Because you're an artist,
Yeah.
right? You wake up in the morning. Sometimes you don't know
What's
what
happening?
today exactly.
Yeah.
What keeps your curiosity alive and your dreams alive? Because you can. It's a choice. It's a decision. You can get stuck in a place where you're like, but I know nothing is happening today. So what keeps that going?
I don't know. I'm not a person who has like routine. I don't. The only routine, like I said, is the praying. But I guess keeping myself busy with things that really light me up, even on the days where really there's nothing planned. I know the things that light me up.
Yeah.
Right. I know that exercising will light me up.
Yeah.
You know, especially when I started. When I revisited the stage again with a play called The Suit, Lebo was in it too. We got into like a real process of like warming up the body.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I felt like even after we stopped, I felt like I had to do it every day.
Yeah, I
because
love that.
it really just brings a sense of vitality, and it's a great way. So reintroducing that, and also like singing really lights me up. So
And you really sing beautifully.
thank you.
I know, like, I think you know what I'm going to ask you.
No, what?
You brought it up. Just 2 lines or phrases from your song.
From my song.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I'm actually being pulled to sing.
Yeah.
Something that I wrote a few years ago that I want to bring into production.
Yeah.
Hopefully a DJ or somebody will hear it. Lefatshe lena ga la direlwa go sotla, batho botlhe ga ra direlwa go sotlwa, motho mang le mang, kae kapa kae, don't let the struggle rule you. Oh, no. 'Cause your pain is your power. And your plight is your power. So hold on. Don't ever let it go. Be strong. Don't ever give it up. Yeah.
And why is this song not out? And those are such powerful lyrics as well.
I remember writing them and thinking, oh, this is so cheesy. But I think as you
grow up,
mature as an artist and a creative, you learn to honor the ideas and the gifts that God brings to you.
You
And
learn
then
to honor God
you learn to honor God.
because that's God.
And then if they need refining, you'll refine the lyrics, you'll refine things. But I'm just at a place where I'm no longer like questioning ideas that come up. I know
love
that
that.
they are like divine. And I know that things get fine-tuned as you go, but you no longer like, you don't resist or doubt or question things that just come up, like I think that's another thing that would come up for me as an actor and would block me, even like to this day, recently, like it's a constant block, like this questioning, and it needs to be dismantled and challenged, and it gets so ingrained in us from like a really young age, and it's something we have to actively resist and work against and pray out,
I love that. I love it. And that's very true. And you have the most gorgeous voice, and I'm glad you're singing. Right? Was there a time in your life where you were not singing because of insecurities?
Yes,
like you said,
yeah.
You just like imagine that.
Imagine that. Like
Imagine that.
Imagine like imagine blocking yourself like that. It's such a limited
A mentality of immature and
Yeah.
scarcity.
Yeah.
And also always wanting to be perceived, but you have the desire to.
You want to be perceived, but you're scared of being perceived.
You're locked in there.
It's a very, it's a confusing. I think it was when I was talking about the confusing times in my 20s, it was that like dichotomy.
I remember the first time I really heard you sing was with The Color Purple. What do you think The Color Purple unlocked in your life? And personally, I don't mean in terms of career, because I know in terms of career, it did wonderful things. You won awards. How many? 15. I'm joking. But it was quite a number, and that was really beautiful.
I missed your humor, hey? I just
really. I can be quite silly. I know.
I miss it so much.
But can you also imagine how? So, and you saying that, right? How much we rob ourselves, even of ourselves. Because I even went through an experience where it's like, I actually don't even think I like my humor. Go, you speak too much. Oh God, stop laughing so much.
That time it's our favorite thing about you, Koki.
Right? It's crazy.
Yes. No, yeah, it's true. I think it just comes from an immaturity and like a lack of experience and a lack of living in this body, and when you're young, you're looking for validation and external validation and being validated by someone else.
And
but
most importantly, I think you're looking for somebody to build you.
You look for because you come from a system that tells you what to do every day. But the more you live in your body, the more you go through challenges, the more you make mistakes, the more you accept the mistakes, the more you live into your the more you lean into your humanity. The more you realize and remember that I'm stuck in here until God decides when I'm not. So for the time being, and I don't know when that is, so for the time being that I'm here, let me lean into my fullness and potential. So it just comes with the experience of living and maturing.
I love that. Who was the hardest person to forgive in your life, and why?
The hardest person to forgive. I think the people who assaulted me, and for a certain time, my parents. For a certain time, my parents. I think in life when we are still in that phase of like looking for others to validate ourselves, we also make the mistake of not realizing that our parents are human beings like us. And so their lives, their complications, their mistakes, their process, we internalize it so much because, I mean, they raised us for the longest time. They are our biggest main reference. And so when they make mistakes that do hurt us, you know, we can get into a place where we blame. We blame.
Do you remember one instance? It was really difficult. It was difficult for you to say. Of course, there's so many instances. I have many that I couldn't, you know, forgive my parents for. But that one that sticked in your mind, that lingered.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
What is it?
Well, I don't know if I'm ready to share it, but like, it was an experience of just seeing, you know, the disconnect. Let me just put it that way. Seeing the disconnect between two people who you feel that they should love each other, but they just don't. And for some reason, as children, I don't know where we get this thing, but we start to internalize. Maybe it's when our ego is developing. So the ego developing is like,
yourself.
So we think we're the problem, we're the reason, and we don't understand that it's so outside of us. So I think the moments where we see the disconnect, really, we internalize them much deeper than they need to be. But as I said, you grow up, you realize that your parents, just like you, are human beings doing the best that they can and working with whatever they have. And so now I have a great respect for both of them and reverence, because gosh, if I was in the same shoes as them, I would have made worse mistakes. You know. So it's just that realization that you really can't judge people. You know, you can't judge people, you judge their actions. And it really helps to see the world from a place of fascination and intrigue and curiosity and not judgment. Just wanting to understand the why of things, not necessarily being curious about how people get to a point where they do what they do, so that we can learn the lessons from that and see how we can help others who are in the same circumstances.
Even help yourself.
And help ourselves, you know.
To get out of that.
But that just comes with growing up, and having a sense of empathy for yourself as a human being, as an adult, knowing that you are going through whatever you're going through. So imagine what they had to do in their time, in that time.
They did the best they could.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I think my children will know. If I do have children, I probably will. God tells me that I'll probably have children. That in this current economy, I hope my children know already, in this current economy,
things are bad.
So hopefully they have a little, they'll have a little mercy.
I hope they do. And I think they will. Because I think if you're honest with them, do you feel like, because certain things were not explained to you in terms of how they played out, not that you're going to be a perfect parent, no, there's nothing like that, right? But there are moments where you felt like, if you explained to me how this came about, why this is happening, maybe I might have understood it a little bit better.
I think our parents did the best they could, because how do you explain to a really young child the weight of the circumstances? You know, and like I said, when you're young, your ego is still developing. I think, though, yes, at some point they could have avoided a lot of things through communication and through preserving themselves and putting themselves first, and not letting things go to a point, like not living in the suffering. I think what I learned from my parents the most is that if you really love someone, you will release them in time for them to live their own life. Give them the opportunity to just release them and let them live the best life that was meant for them.
So when you're saying letting them go, your parents are divorced then?
Yes,
Mm.
yes,
And
happily
how,
so.
how did you navigate that? How did you navigate that, you and your siblings?
I think us wanting the best for our parents helped us release the need for them to be together. And wanting the best for ourselves helped us let go of the need for a solid family. I think, and therefore we got to grow and understand how to love in our own capacities, that love isn't an attachment. Love doesn't thrive when people are like attached to each other or are there's no sense of ownership in love. It's really wanting the best for someone, even if you have to release them, you know. Love is not greed. It's wanting the best for the other person, and it's communicating when things are not working out. And I think that's what I am learning very much, that communicating, not staying in brokenness, but communicating and giving yourself the allowance to just release what isn't working and serving you and go forward in what is meant for you, what is truly meant for you. I commend them. I commend them. They taught me a lot, and they both very strong. And I hope they both find the loves of their lives.
I hope so too. I hope so too. I hope you find the love of your life. Anybody in the picture?
No.
Am I coming to a baby shower soon? I want to go to a baby shower, guys.
I want to go to a baby shower.
We're waiting.
We're waiting. Actually, we're waiting. You start, friend.
Why am I started?
Because, I mean, in fact, when I get married, I'm going to be coming to you for tips.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you've started the journey, you've started the process. Continue. Lead the way.
I can't deal with you. There's something you mentioned that's important, right? But I didn't want to go back to it. Wow, everything. We're still having other, and I don't want to sweep it under a rug because it's such an important thing, you know, and such an important transition and growing journey in your life. You mentioned being assaulted. Yeah. How did that happen? And with all sensitivity, I'm asking this with all sensitivity. How did that happen? Where were you? And what marks did it leave in you?
Well, I won't dive into, the details of it. But I mean, it happened while I was in varsity. And obviously, when someone invades your space like that, it does a number of things to your sense of security and place in the world, and you kind of will question your own judgment, wondering if you played a role in the violation, and so you start to question if you make the right decisions. It really closes your root chakra. It closes it up, and that is why, look, I don't believe in being a survivor of assault and rape. I believe in thriving from your past circumstances, being a victor of your circumstances. I mean, that kind of violation can make you want to end your life, but when you don't make that decision, when you go through the pain and the thick of it, and when you come out alive and breathing and still having a sense of, I'm still here, anything could have happened during that situation, but you're still here. It really reminds you that you shouldn't play with the time that you have. It gives you a sense of perspective of like, wow, if you can survive that, you can survive a lot of things. Really, you can. If you can come out of a situation like that and still have your wits about you and a sense of like agency, then you're a really strong individual, and you should use your strength and your faith and your power
Yeah.
to do what you were meant to do.
Yeah.
So it should be a signifier of how big you are.
Yeah.
And how powerful you are.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you believe
suffering is not, the suffering is really a human condition.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to go through it, no matter what the circumstances are. We all will go through it. And so it just reminds you to use that as your power, like what I just sang, that turn that energy and leverage it into and I don't know, change it into like
your own
fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The protagonist of your life.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the course of Stephen, because it happened shortly after varsity? Actually, not shortly after, your fourth year or something.
It was shortly
after, right?
Yeah.
Did that help you, or did you have to go to some sort of therapy of that?
No, you definitely do. And I think, look, I think therapy for everyone is standard, whether, life is good or not. And having faith in God and nurturing that relationship is standard when things are good and bad. But definitely, Stephen held a space for me to deal with the ugliness of that. And then he taught me that, hey, that's a gift.
Yeah.
You've been given a gift as an actor. Use it as a gift. Yes. Yeah. So he helped me change the perspective from like victim to victor. Yes.
Guys, contact Stephen.
Yeah,
it's very funny because I do that all the time as well. Oh, no, just call Stephen.
Yeah. No,
I really admire Stephen and what he's doing and the beauty he's done in our life and looking these things. And I'm really glad that he could be that safe space for you.
No, he really
because it can be such a stumbling block. You're such a wonderful creator, and we can't be robbed out of that because the plan changed. Somebody decided they're going to interfere with God's plan because you're here on a mission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But forgiveness plays a big part of that. And it plays a big part of the release of that. When you're just doing it, when you forgive for you because you understand what it unlocks and the place it puts you as, it's, we're all going to go through something. We are all going through something.
Yeah.
But it really ultimately is up to you to change that narrative. Yeah. So if you're going through something really deep and you really feel like you're the only person in the world who's experiencing this pain, just know that everyone, you're not alone. Everyone is going through something. You have the power to
turn the stigma.
Turn the stigma around.
Yeah, don't stigmatize yourself.
Yeah, you're not alone.
You're not alone. There's so many.
Really, you can use the things that happen to you, that happen around you, to really make a change. And it's so true. It's not like a cliche. It's true.
It's true.
Yes.
We're seeing that. We're seeing you doing that in your art.
Thank you.
And I'm fortunate as well because I get to put that into my art as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
We ran out of time. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with me. I didn't know that, but I feel very fortunate and very blessed that you are comfortable enough to share that with me because it's sensitive. It's such a sensitive thing. Whether you've grown or not.
But I want people who have gone through the same thing or people who haven't gone through the same thing but are going through something else to know that, man, joy comes in the morning, but you just have to, it takes work. It takes work to like detangle and resolve the issues that we carry with us in our bodies, in our hearts, in our minds. You have to do the work to just like release yourself from those things and use those things, to fuel you, to teach others how to handle the same situation, to inspire you, to inspire you to be better, really create a sense of community around you, a real support system, and be a support system to someone else. Yeah, life is limitless and
Yeah.
endless.
Yeah.
We don't have to limit ourselves.
Yeah.
We really don't.
Yeah, we
God
do.
doesn't limit us, so why do we do it to ourselves, right? So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your wonderful story. Can you play a game?
Yes, I can.
So the name of the game is What's the Feeling?
Okay.
So I give you a phrase
Yeah.
and then you act it out in 4 emotions.
Oh.
Yeah. So sad, angry, excited, and happy.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So diamonds are a girl's best friend.
This is reminding me of drama class and all the weird things. All the weird.
You
Now
used to
people,
do?
people. This is the weirdness of actors.
People think you're mad. Like, what are you doing? Are you fine? What's going on with your face? Now this time around, you're gonna try it with the words. You say the phrase,
Okay.
right? And then yeah.
Wait, so you say it and then
No, this time around, say the phrase. Happy. You say it happy. And then you say it sad. You get it.
okay,
Yeah. This time
okay.
around, let's do it with the words so that we see.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Didintle Khunou, Manako Matlere. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you learned something or enjoyed the episode. We'll see you guys on the next episode from myself, Kokisana Lady, and my wonderful guest. Do you want to say goodbye to them?
Thank you so much for holding space for me. Thank you for sharing your platform with me. Thank you for just being the sister that you are and for inviting me to share my story, to open up my throat chakra and just to be seen on your platform. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm glad. Thank you for coming and availing yourself. You didn't have to, but you did.
Thank you.
I'm grateful as well. Thank you, babe. Bye, guys. We'll see you guys next time.